Morning. Welcome to Headlines in Bed. Today is Monday, January 25th, 2021. I hope you had a good and restful weekend and that you took a break away from the news. But it is Monday morning, so let's get started. And we'll get started with the New York Times. Um, in the center, they have a carousel of images showing people masked, showing people taking the vaccine in South Africa, in England, um, in Thailand. Um, on the left-hand side, Moderna is working on a vaccine booster for a new variant. The company's vaccine produces fewer protective antibodies against the variant found in South Africa, so it is working on a new version. President Biden will bar travel from non-citizens into the U.S. from South Africa amid concerns over virus variants, a White House official said. Um, over on the right, um, as more images of people masked and getting tested and going on with our lives amid the pandemic continues. We see the New York and the new Washington. The House is poised to transmit its article of impeachment against Trump to the Senate. Biden hopes to tighten Buy American provisions with an executive order. President Biden is vowing to reopen schools quickly. It won't be easy. Fights between districts and unions, as well as fear among teachers and parents, could make it hard to fulfill the promise. It's interesting that all of that is going on in the context of public schools, while private schools, for the most part, as far as I know, and especially here in the Bay Area, they have now been open. They are testing daily. A colleague of mine uh, who works for a private school in the Bay Area uh, mentioned to me that staff and students are getting tested weekly on site at no cost. Um, it can be done. They have the resources. The government can make resources available for public schools to do the same and get the kids back to school safely. Jeffrey Clark was considered unassuming. Then he plotted with Trump. Justice Department colleagues said they were shocked by Mr. Clark's embrace of former uh, President Trump's falsehoods and his plan to oust the acting Attorney General. It's so funny that even after Trump is out of office, the New York Times continues to use the elegant term of falsehoods instead of lies. And here's a photo of said unassuming uh, Jeffrey Clark. Rudy Giuliani sued by Dominion Voting Systems over false election claims. The suit against Mr. Giuliani, a lawyer for Donald Trump, accuses him of carrying out a viral disinformation campaign and seeks damages of more than 1.3 billion. There you go, Rudy. Um, let's scroll over before we go to the opinion. A war over filibuster, a stalling tactic, stops the Senate from the start. Before the Senate can get down to business, Senator Mitch McConnell wants Democrats to promise not to gut the procedure that can grind the chamber to a halt. We're going to come over, see if by refreshing, we're going to refresh and go over to the opinion page. Gail Collins and Brett Stevens. Are we ready for parity? Without Trump, the White House, Congress, and the media are all going to have to make big adjustments. Or are we ready for Monday? Not parity, Monday. So I think parity would be just as applicable. Adama Ba. We don't need another war on terror. Royce Scranton. I've said goodbye to normal. You should too. Candace Rundukes and Heather Hurlburt. How Parler reveals the alarming trajectory of political violence. Vanessa Barbara. I can't believe I need to say this, but we need schools We need schools more than bars. Neil Eggleston and Alexa Kissinger, How to Fix 4 Years of Trump's War Against Government. Kara Swisher. I'm not sure what's going on with the computer, but I don't want to. I don't want to misquote the record and misread headlines. That's not what we do here. Our headlines, our reading of headlines is factual. The side Trump could run to next. Charles M. Blow, avoiding the Obama-era silence trap. Even for bargain hunters, green cars make sense. That's Margaret Renko. Jody Archbold, my language is dying too. Yang Shou Wang, has China done too well against COVID-19? It's 30 degrees. Shall we have brunch outdoors? It's winter and the pandemic is going strong, but some New Yorkers still want to meet up with friends from, how the three Diallo sisters were finally able to connect to their classes. New York City said it was impossible to quickly install reliable internet for thousands of homeless students. Some shelters proved them wrong. Is space the next great power contest between the US and China? The Biden administration faces not only waves of Chinese anti-satellite weapons, but a history of jumble responses to the intensifying threat. Here are 5 takeaways from the developing space war between China and the US. Kansas City Chiefs will face Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Super Bowl. The Chiefs will try to defend their Super Bowl title against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, who are playing at home. At 43, Tom Brady will be playing in his 10th Super Bowl, proving he can still what? Compete at the highest level. We are going to move on to the LA Times. We are going to sorry about the technical difficulties we're having today. It's part of being a startup, but we will address them. We will address them soon. And here I am. It didn't go away. Okay. Los Angeles Times. And they start with a Newsom. Newsom expected to cancel California's coronavirus stay-at-home orders. Wow. All counties will return to the color tier system at local risk levels. It's not clear whether rules will be eased in LA County, which has become a national epicenter of coronavirus. Wow, that's big news. Tracking the coronavirus in California. Noticias en español. Biden to reinstate travel restrictions on non-U.S. travelers from several countries. The PPP process was excruciating for some last year. Will it change this time around? Reminder, the PPP stands for Payroll Protection Plan. In a time of great need, student nurses step up to get shots into arms. Skelton, it shouldn't be this hard getting COVID-19 vaccine into people's arms. GOP senators appear divided on holding impeachment trial. Authorities examine threats made against lawmakers ahead of impeachment trial. Despite pleas, safety rules inspired by Kobe Bryant helicopter crash stall. A year after the death of Bryant, his daughter and 7 others, a push for safety measures has stalled Congress amid the pandemic and industry opposition. Jerry West reflects on Kobe Bryant from Wunderkind to icon. Snow closes grapevine as powerful storms hit Southern California. Brady versus Mahomes. Quarterback superstars to collide in Super Bowl 55. Mexico's president says he has tested for COVID for tested for the tested positive for the coronavirus. As Mexico enters pandemic's darkest days, its vaccine plan takes a hit. Critics of San Diego Superintendent Colin Biden to rescind her nomination to education post. Many say Cindy Martin's nomination as U.S. Deputy Secretary of Education is deserved, but some note San Diego's achievement gap and still closed schools. For Black pioneers, Harris and Obama, different times mean different approaches on race. This Wuhan man criticized China's handling of COVID-19. A year later, he's still isolated. California banned indiscriminate fishing nets. Now these porpoises are on the rebound. Leslie Odom explains why he initially passed on playing Sam Cooke in One Night in Miami. I still haven't watched that movie. WGN America will change its name to News Nation, moving to compete with CNN, Fox, and MSNBC. WGN. Larry King, legendary talk show host, dies at 87. Larry King, who gained fame with his CNN show Larry King Live, died Saturday in Los Angeles. King was hospitalized with COVID-19 earlier this month. Appreciation. Larry King loved dumb questions. With them, he helped write cultural history. Okay, and the technical issues continue. I apologize. We are going to end today's podcast with the Wall Street Journal. Let's see if it behaves any better. I promise I will look into what is causing this technical issue. And here we are on the Wall Street Journal. Moderna developing booster shot against South Africa strain. British economy post-Brexit and pummeled by COVID is worst in G7. Biden to sign Buy American order. The executive order will make it harder for federal agencies to purchase imported products and revise the definition of American-made goods. Biden's plans. Eyed warily by other nations. Virus relief bill meets resistance. Yellen passed the economic stability baton to Powell. Now he is handing it back. Oxygen scarcity swells COVID-19's death toll. Biden faces a China with more clout at the WTO. What it takes to open a business in a pandemic. The center emerges as early Biden testing ground. California governor faces recall effort amid lockdown anger. Budweiser skips Super Bowl ad, promises vaccine education instead. Now that is good marketing. New Yorker gives back National Magazine Award. I think it had to do. The New Yorker magazine has given back a National Magazine Award for an article about Japan's rent-to-family industry, the first return of an award in the 55 history of the magazine industry. Magazine Society's honor. NBC Universal's Peacock to become WWE's exclusive streaming home. All right, folks. For Monday, January 25th, 2021, that is Headlines in Bed. Thank you for joining me. Have a good day. See you tomorrow. And remember, I will look into fixing these technical problems. Sorry that it was such a scramble today, and that I scrambled all around. Be well. Thank you.